Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal, I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid, upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream. And I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's two ways you can give me your answers. Number one, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number two, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news, what would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode.
Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock, and for over 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. So now I'm on a mission to help other new business owners just like you make money doing what you love too. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started. Well, hello, this is Kimberly. I am so glad that you're here today because I'm talking about 4 things that I don't want you to lose sight of as you start and grow your business. So I want you to promise me today that you will listen really intently because these 4 things I believe are so crucial. So I'm so glad you're here. If you're new, welcome. I'm so glad that you found this podcast because I have no doubt that it can help you and motivate you and inspire you along your journey of entrepreneurship. Because a lot of times people don't even say that they're entrepreneurs. They're like, I'm a small business owner. It's true. But you know what? You're really an entrepreneur too. If you're taking this into your own hands, people, you're entrepreneurs. Okay. So I want to tell you this. If you're new, make sure you hit subscribe. Maybe you're listening in Apple Podcasts or one of the other apps. Make sure you hit follow, subscribe, whatever it says, because you don't want to miss out on any future episodes. I usually drop them on Thursdays once a week. So I don't want you to miss them. So make sure you do that. And then also, are you in my Facebook group? If you didn't know that I have a Facebook group, I do. I have an awesome one called Women Starting Businesses Doing What We Love. And I would love for you to be in there. I'm inviting you right now. So you just scroll down below and you'll see the link. And I also have some free downloads for you, like a checklist that's going to help you as you start your business and things like that down below. So make sure you check those out. And if you've been listening a while, thank you so much to all my loyal listeners. Y'all have been wonderful. As I said, we're in the top, 1% according to Listen Notes. And I'm usually in the top 100 in the careers category under business and Apple Podcasts. So that's so exciting and just so rewarding. This is just so much fun. And I just want to thank you all so much. I love all the messages that I get, the feedback, the posts in the Facebook group about how certain episodes have really resonated with you or made you laugh or really helped you, inspired you, motivated you, whatever they were. And I just want to thank you all for that. And thank you for the reviews. A lot of you have left the star ratings, like an Apple Podcast. You can hit 5 stars. That would be awesome. A lot of you have left reviews. And if you ever want to do that, I would be so appreciative. And I just want to thank you all for being such great listeners. And that's it. Okay, on to the episode. Hello, everyone. I am so happy that you are here. This is a great day. This is a great day because we're talking about 4 really important things that I want you to promise me, pinky promise, right now, that you will not lose sight of in your business. These are really crucial. And I just want you to always keep these at the forefront because I think they're super important as you're moving along in your business. You know, you're going to have ups and downs. I've talked about this before. Business is an emotional roller coaster, right? You're going to have your exciting times where you're like, oh my gosh, I can do this. This is going to be awesome. Then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. You'll have times when you're like, how have these other people built all these successful businesses? How am I going to ever get there? Like, there's all these thoughts going in our heads. I mean, we have a lot of drama around business, don't we? But we're trying to get a grip. That's why we're here. That's why we're listening to this podcast. We're trying to stay on the straight and narrow, right? We're not going to let our brain go off to all these daydreams. Today, I want to talk you through these 4 things to never lose sight of as you're building your business, okay? And here's the first one. I don't want you to ever lose sight of the initial vision that you had for this business. Now, let me start by saying this. A lot of your businesses will evolve and change over time. But there is some kind of core reason that you started this business. There was some yearning for something. There was some dream that you've had for a long time. Many of you say, I've been dreaming about this for 3 or 4 or 5 years and I just have never done it. And I'm doing it now. That's amazing. Applause to you. Okay. But you had a deep rooted feeling inside you when you started this business. I think you did. I think you either thought there was something that you were good at that you're like, you know what? I can turn this into a business. This would be really fun. This would be a fulfilling career for me. Or maybe you were like me, who was like in the dumps for a while in between businesses going, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And I knew that I had to work and I knew that I was meant for more. Maybe you were like that and you know you're meant for more. Or maybe you see a really good opportunity to start a business. Like you found something, you're like, oh, that's missing in our industry or in the marketplace or here locally, right? Maybe you have a coffee truck or a food truck or who knows? Maybe you help people. I saw someone just came in the group who was wanting to start a business to help people be outdoors more and have more connection with other people, which I think is amazing, right? You've had a vision. You've had something inside of you that is spilling over, right? And I don't want you to ever lose sight of that because I think that is your sweet spot. I really do. Because when I was starting this business, I kept thinking, I want to help people or I want to inspire people. I want to be in front of people. And I didn't mean that in an egotistical way. Okay. So don't ever take it when I say that I'm being like, oh, I have so much to offer the world. Like I need to be in front of people. Like that couldn't be farther from the truth. I love people like Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey. I could go on and on. People that inspire us and just keep us grounded and learning more about ourselves and reaching our potential. I mean, that's really what I love to do, inspire people to reach their potential and not just be stagnant and sitting around. I want to help people make progress. I could talk about all these things all day, but I mean, that's like the basis for what I was doing when I started this business. So what is your basis? Like, where did you start? What was that initial gut feeling of why you wanted to start this business? It just hit me. You know how people always say out of the mouth of babes? You've heard this, right? Like when a child says something really profound or wise or insightful or mature, and you're like, well, out of the mouth of babes, like you would never expect this young person to be able to come up with that type of wisdom. Well, it's kind of like you with your business. Like you are a baby in terms of a business owner, right? You're just learning. You're learning to walk. You're learning to crawl. I know we don't want to be compared to babies, but we are in our infancy stage when we are starting our business. We are just learning. We're soaking it in. But sometimes we have profound wisdom at the beginning of our businesses because it's not clouded up by all the noise and all the expectation and all the perfection and everything that we think we have to live up to as a business owner, that we have to know, we have to understand, we have to be smart about. Out of the mouths of babes. That's us. Think back to when you just started this business or when you had this very beginning inkling of a dream that you feel like God spoke to you or that you just had. You'd always had this yearning in you. That is your wisest moment because it's the moment that you had your true calling realized. Now, this is kind of deep, and I'm no life coach or minister or theologian or writer, or can I name off all the things I'm not? What I'm saying is, I think we have a lot of wisdom, even just before we start our business. And it's basic and it's not noisy. It's clear. So think about it today. What is that one thing that you wanted to do with this business? What reason did you have? Don't ever lose sight of that. Promise me today you won't, because that is your direction. That is your direction. Okay? Because I talked about in another episode how much noise there is. You actually do have clarity. In your moments when you feel like everything's clouded and you don't know what you're doing and you don't know if you can do this, think back to that initial thought. Promise me you won't let go of that, because it will guide you from here on out. Okay, let's go to the second thing. The second thing is I don't want you to ever lose sight of the difference you want to make for people. Okay? Now, you may be selling a candle, or you may be selling shoes, or you may be selling cupcakes, or you may be selling outdoor hikes, like I just mentioned, right? Whatever it is, there's a difference that you want to make for people. There's a transformation. There's something that you want to provide them. Don't ever lose sight of that. Now, it's a little bit tied in with our initial vision, right? But it's not. It's actually steps away, because I think about, for me, my initial vision was I wanted to somehow inspire or speak to people either publicly. I didn't even know what form. I thought maybe public speaking, which I guess a podcast is public speaking, but it's just not physically in front of people, right? But I do want to public speak. It's something I want to do. I've always dreamed of being on a stage and like coming out with a really good presentation or speech or motivational talk. And I've never felt like I had the talk nailed down. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about. Okay. So that was my initial vision, right? Out of the mouth of babes, right? And the vision that I had for this business when I finally figured out what I wanted to do was to help people effectively start their businesses and grow, but also to believe that they could do it. Because if they didn't believe that they could be successful in this business, they weren't going to do it. Okay. So I don't ever lose sight of that I really and truly want to help people. I want to see what's amazing in them and help bring that to the forefront so that they will realize what they've been given, the God-given gifts that they have, and they will use them and they will keep pushing forward with this business. That's really what I've set out to do. Okay. So for you, once you started your business or you're about to start or you nailed down your idea and you're like, okay, I've got my idea, don't ever lose sight of that initial idea, because I think, again, the initial idea then gets more foggy. It's like the more you learn, the more confused you get. You know how people say, the more I know, the more I realize I don't know? That's what happens when you're starting your business. You realize how much more, like it's almost like you go down a hallway and there's doors and you open one door and then now all of a sudden there's 20 doors and then you go in one of those doors and then there's 50 doors and it just keeps going. And you're like inundated with information and thoughts and all this stuff, right? And expectations and all this. And you lose sight of like, oh, wait, what did I really want to do? I don't want you to get caught up in all the marketing for different, programs to take your business in directions that you never really intended it to be. Like you knew you wanted this to be an outdoor business. You got caught up in marketing or courses or something else online. And you started taking this business into a direction, selling a product for the outdoors, which is not what you really wanted to do. You wanted to actually get people outdoors. Don't let yourself do that. Don't lose sight of like the initial vision. Now, it's not to say that you can't adapt and change. You should. If someone gives you advice and says, from a business standpoint, I think it's going to be more lucrative for you if you take this direction, that's one thing. I am saying I don't want you moving yourself in the wrong direction just because you got caught up in some kind of hype or some kind of comparison game that you thought you should enter a certain race when you shouldn't. And you should have been creating your own lane that you had a vision of in the beginning. And I've said that before. You're creating your own lane. Instead of running the race right next to the exact same types of people, create your own lane. Empower yourself to build this business around the difference you want to make for people and make it your business. People will like your business better if it's made by you in your way, with your style, with your personality, with your sense of humor, with your creativity, all that. They like it better when it's yours. They don't want you to copy. Okay, what if Target said, you know what? We want to be just like Walmart. Okay, basically they sell the same things, y'all. We know this, right? But the experience is totally different at Target than Walmart, right? I love Target. I'm a Target shopper. I'll buy clothes, I'll buy jewelry, whatever it is. I buy it. Now, maybe some of the clothes, let me take them back. Some of the clothes are not the same at Walmart, but a lot of the merchandise and stuff is the same. But Target set out to create a different experience. I think about Nordstrom's versus like a Macy's. When I go into Macy's, it's super crowded. Although I haven't been to Macy's because of COVID. I'm thinking about this now. Oh my goodness. I don't even know. So crowded. There's a zillion clothes all on racks everywhere. And you're like pushing your way through. It's like tough to focus. Nordstrom provides a different experience. People often think that their same clothes that are at Nordstrom that are at Macy's are going to be more expensive. And it's so not true. They are the same price. I've even seen some things less, right? You can go to Nordstrom. It's got clearer spaces and walkways. There's always someone there to help you. A cash register and a person working there is always in sight, and they're super sweet and polite. And there's a difference to me. I'm not knocking Macy's at all. I'm just saying the experience is different, right? They're not trying, Nordstrom's is not saying, we want to be the next Macy's. I mean, they're not. They're like, we want to create the experience that we want to have. That's what you're doing. You're creating an experience that you wish you had or that you want for other people, right? Please don't ever lose sight of that. I think it's super important to stick to what you innately know that you want to do for people and how you want to do it for them. Does that make sense? Okay, the first one, again, is never losing sight of your initial first inkling of why you wanted to make this change, start a business, etc. Okay. The second thing to never lose sight of is your initial vision for the business, like the initial thought about how you wanted to offer something, that you don't get sucked into some way that you don't want to do it. It kind of reminds me of like Shark Tank. You know, people come on there with some kind of product or something. Do y'all watch Shark Tank, by the way? I love that show. My husband's like, can we please not watch another Shark Tank? I'm like, we've only seen this episode 3 times. I need to watch it again. I'm kidding. I don't make him watch it 3 times, but I do make him sometimes watch it a second time because it's entertaining to me. I love Shark Tank. Anyways, I feel bad because some of those people will come in there with a brand or something and they're like, this should be a licensing deal. You need to license this. And they're like, no, this is my baby. And maybe, yes, they could make more money with the licensing deal, but it would mean that they would relinquish a lot of control of the business, and they weren't willing to do that. That's not the vision that they had. Again, it may mean them they may not make as much money, but what is as much money? Making $2 million versus $10 million? I don't know. Is it 100,000 versus 200,000? That may be a really big deal. I have no idea. My point is that I don't want you to lose sight of that, because I think you feel like you lose yourself when you do. You lose what it was. It was this heartfelt journey that turned into like corporate and machine made business. And I know you don't want that. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing is, don't ever lose sight that this is a business and not a hobby. Okay, are y'all hearing me? This is a business and not a hobby. For some of you, y'all are like, this can't be a hobby. Like, I'm replacing my full-time salary, or this is my full-time job and I have to make the money. So for those of you that know that you have to make money, you're not going to lose sight of this, right? But there's others of you that have a business that you've started on the side, or that's been really fun, or that you had a talent and people said, you need to be a home decorator, or you need to help people do this or that, or you need to start this pet business. So you kind of do it. And you are excited, but you don't necessarily need to make $100K a year, right? For those of you that are in that position, y'all are the ones that are at risk of turning this into a hobby, because you may not have the incentive money-wise, okay? So please, for those of you in this position, do not lose sight of the strategic direction of your business. Be smart about the money you spend, about the money you don't spend, about who you hire, who you don't hire. I could talk about this for hours, but for those of you that aren't under the gun and don't have to make a lot of money, make sure that you keep in mind that this is a business and not a hobby. Now, for those of you that are replacing a salary, you're quitting your 9 to 5. I've had like 2 members recently tell me that they were quitting their 9 to 5 and they're doing this full time. And I'm like, holy cow, here we go. We're doing this. We're going to make this happen. I don't think that y'all will turn it into a hobby. I think you will be smart. But here's the negative for people like you. Y'all get in a hurry. You start rushing. And there's some things that you overlook or overspend on, like me in the past when I overbought inventory and wasn't super smart about inventory. And I had tons of inventory. Okay. I had to for the type of business that I had. It was different then than it is now. But for you, if you're under the gun, you've got to replace your job, please promise me that you are going to be smart about this business and not spend extra money where you don't need to, because you may be thinking, I've got to make money fast. This has to be the best it can be right now. It's got to be perfect right now. I have to do this. And so you end up spending money, though, that really isn't affecting your bottom line, that really isn't turning into profits. It's more stuff for vanity, like, spending thousands and thousands and thousands on a website right this minute that doesn't need to be that fancy right this minute. You need a website. You need a space online, but it doesn't have to be the end all be all, which I talked about in episode 90. Go back to that if you're a perfectionist. It's a really good episode. Okay? So promise me, pinky promise, that y'all will all stay focused on the fact that this is a business, not a hobby. Okay. We don't want it to fall into hobby status, but we also, if we're under the gun, we're replacing a 9 to 5, we've got to make a lot of money, that we'll be smart about the growth and that we'll spend money when we need it to quicken up our processes. That's what people like me do for people like you. You're spending money to lessen the amount of time between where you are today and where you want to be. And you spend money with people like me to lay out the process so you don't waste time and energy trying to figure it out on your own. People like me have proven paths for you. So promise me, whether it's me that you coach with, or that you join Grow Getters with, or that you buy my course, my Just Start course, whether it's me or whether it's someone else, that if you find someone you really connect with and that you respect and that can help you, that you will heavily consider spending the money, because I can tell you now, it will save you so much time and energy and angst, and it will shorten that path from where you are today and where you want to be. It's just like when I was remodeling our lake house. My husband did not get a contractor. Well, he sort of did, but we needed someone we needed a project manager that was going to manage the whole process, because we were 2.5 hours away from it. And it took us like a year and a half, when if we would have hired someone, maybe it would have taken 6 months. It took forever, because we tried to save money and we're being smart. My husband was just trying to be smart about it and not spend too much. But let me just tell you, I think he aged about 10 years through that process. Don't let that happen to you with your business. Don't let that happen. Spend money on things that will get you to money faster, but in the most effective way for the long term. Because I think there's a lot of get-rich-quick schemes out there that are totally annoying to me. I'm sorry. Y'all know I'm not very negative. But the get-rich-quick schemes, the bro marketing, the private jets, I can't deal with it. That couldn't be farther from the way that I value my business. Yes, I want to make money. Yes, I like money. But I also don't like it at the expense of the longevity of this business, at the expense of not being in alignment with who I am, at the expense of feeling icky that this is just not what I want to be doing and who I want to be following. You have to think about that. You have to be smart about the money you're spending. Don't lose sight of that. Be smart. Don't just because you have money, spend it on everything that you think you need right now. You don't even know enough right now to totally know what you should be spending on. Please seek out help. You can start for free getting help in my Facebook group. You can listen to this podcast. You can hire me as a coach. You can get my Just Start course. Okay? It's not expensive, and it will lay out the whole process for you of starting your business. It will save you so much time. Or you can be a part of my Grow Getters. That's going to help you every day, ongoing, whenever you need help, so that you can take strategic action on a regular basis and keep moving forward with this business that you love. Be smart about the money that you spend on your business, okay? And the fourth thing, y'all, this one is amazing. Don't ever lose sight of how far you have come. I want you to think about this, and this could make me cry here live on the podcast record. Is that a thing, live on the podcast recording? Okay. You have to think about how far you have come, whether it be you have just come to the place, like the person that came in my Facebook group that said, I've been dreaming about this for 5 years and now I'm going to try to get this thing going. That is a huge milestone because there's so many people that never will take the initiative. They are not initiative-taking people. They are not go-getters. They will not take action. They will not live out their potential. They don't believe they can do it. That is a huge milestone. If you've gotten to the point where you were just starting your business and now you have something for sale and it's up and it's on Etsy and you got 2 sales and you made $50, let's celebrate. Y'all, that is a big deal. Think about what it took you to get from the point of thinking about starting this business, committing to starting this business, taking action, putting stuff up for sale, being courageous, and it sold. And you got some revenue. It's amazing. Let's celebrate that. Don't ever forget how far you have come. I think about it with me as I've been building my business. And y'all know I'm really transparent about this because I'm a case study for you. I'm not only sharing all my knowledge, but you're getting to see firsthand somebody growing their business and believing that they can make it happen and taking steps on her own path at her own speed, on her own way to build her own business. And I started with that vision that I just told you about, that I wanted to inspire people and be in front of people. And here I am today with a podcast in the top 1%. I'm not famous. I don't know a lot of people. I've never networked with anybody really outside that knows a ton of people to get this thing out. I have no training in this. I've been on one other podcast. I've been a guest on one other podcast. Now, side note, next year is my whole marketing year, 2022. So I'll be doing a lot of marketing. But my point is, if I find myself ever doubting myself, I go, holy cow, you're in the top 1% of podcasts. And y'all, I'm not saying this to brag. Please do not think. I'm just telling you this because I want you to see that it's possible for you, even if you're not famous or don't know a ton of people or whatever your situation is, right? That if you believe in what you're doing and you follow that yearning, right, out of the mouth of babes, that it can happen for you. Oh, how far you have come. Write it on a piece of paper, on a sticky, and put it on your monitor so you see it every day. Oh, H, comma. Oh, how far you have come. Anyone listening today, you have made progress somehow or you wouldn't be here. You would not be here right now if you hadn't made progress somewhere mentally, physically, emotionally. You wouldn't be here. You're here because you made progress. Write down right now. Get a pencil. What progress have you made? Tell me the things that you have done. I would love to know. You can post it in our Facebook group. Maybe I'll make a post when this comes out. I'd love to know what you've accomplished, not because you want to brag or show it to other people, because you want to confirm to yourself and put it out in the world. This is what I've done. I'm doing this, and I'm going to continue doing this. Oh, how far You have come. I can't even tell you. Think about it when you get to a $100,000 business or a $200,000 business. Y'all, when my businesses were booming, I mean, my husband would like stare at me. He could not believe that I had built these businesses out of just being me. I mean, he loves me, but do you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you can't believe that it's true. Now, we know it's all fleeting. We know it will go away in a dime. It can. We know there will be an end to this business, and that's okay. And even when there is an end, you can still look back and go, look what I accomplished. It's like raising kids. Look, my son's about to go to college and my daughter's a senior in college. She's about to go off into the real world. I have to think I set the foundations. I'd like to think that I did the best I could. Did I make mistakes? Yes, a ton. So far from perfect. We're all just bozos on the bus. Have y'all heard this? Bozos on the bus. We're all just bozos on the bus. We're all just trying to make it, right? But oh, how far we have come. So please promise me right now, you will never lose sight of everything that you accomplished, about every milestone, whether it's you hit 5 sales, 10 sales, $1,000, $2,500 in revenue, your first sale, you got your website up. Like to me, these are exciting things. I get genuinely excited about these things because you know what it signifies to me? Progress, momentum, movement, not stalling, not being stagnant, not just withering away. You're actually moving forward. Okay, so promise me today, pinky promise, that you'll never lose sight of these 4 things. Your initial gut feeling right when you realized you might want to start a business doing something. What was that initial thing? Number 2, what was the initial thing you wanted to do for people when you actually started the business? Was it to bring them happiness, save time, get them outdoors, make them happy, make them more connected, have better relationships, feel better, healthier, happier, feel better about themselves? Number 3, promise me you'll be smart about your money and that you'll spend it on things that you need to spend it on, and you won't spend it on things that you don't need to spend it on, and that you'll make sure that this is a business and not a hobby, or that if you need a big business, that you'll be smart about how you build it so that you have longevity. And number 4, that you will always recognize how far you have come, because this is so crucial. It literally makes you happy when you like right now. I'm smiling. I am smiling as I'm talking because I remember the day when I had done like 2 or 3 podcasts and I would see people that had 50 podcasts. And honestly, I have forgotten that I like surpassed that and I'm almost at 100. Like you forget how many episodes you've done or how many sales you've made or how many lives you've touched or how many people you've served. You forget. You forget a lot of stuff. Okay. It's just like when you have a baby and you raise it and then later you have a second baby, you're like, holy cow, I forgot what being pregnant was like. Like, this is like full on, right? Or I forgot what a toddler was like, or I forgot, all these things. You forget it all. I think God gives us amnesia at certain points, but with this, I want you to make it a point not to have amnesia so you don't forget how far you've come. So promise me all those 4 things. And today, if you're not in my Facebook group, please get in. Please, if you are just starting your business, you're like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing, grab my Just Start course. Get started on that. You can ask me questions while you're going through it. I'll help you. I'm here to help you, okay? And then check out Grow Getters. I don't know if it's open or not when you're listening to this, but it's my ongoing program to help you keep you motivated, inspired, moving along and being strategic so that you can make money doing what you love in this business. That's it. Y'all have a great day. Bye now.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com, and yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.